The night she asked me to stay started with a garage light that would not turn on, and a job I almost turned down. My name is Jay. I am 24, and I work as a freelance electrician in a town just outside San Diego. Not the beach part everyone posts online, the inland side, where it gets hot by noon and most houses look the same from the street. I rent a small one-bedroom apartment above a nail salon. My place smells like nail polish in the day and fried food from the diner next door at night. Most of my work comes from an app. People tap a button when they blow a breaker or fry an outlet, and my phone buzzes with a new job. A good week means I cover rent, gas from my old white Chevy truck, and have enough left over to grab a burger on Friday. I like the work. Wires make sense. Power either flows or it does not. People are harder. That Tuesday I was lying on my couch, scrolling through my phone, trying not to think about how quiet my life was, when the app chimed. Single-car garage light not working. Needs fixed tonight. The address was in La Palma Heights, one of those fancy neighborhoods on the hill. Big houses, stone driveways, and gates that close themselves. Not my usual area. My regulars live in old places with bad insulation and older wiring. For a second I thought about ignoring it. Jobs on that side are usually picky people who complain if a wire is not perfectly straight. But the rate on the screen was higher than normal. Double, actually. I hit accept before I could talk myself out of it. The sun was low when I pulled up the hill. My truck rattled past rows of palm trees and perfect lawns. The house at the address looked like something from a magazine. Smooth white walls, huge windows, black trim. There was a wide driveway and a gray Tesla parked there, shining under the streetlight. I killed the engine, grabbed my toolbox, and took a breath. My shirt was clean, my jeans were not too stained. Good enough. The side door to the garage was cracked open a few inches. I knocked on the wood with my knuckles. "Hello, it is Jay, the electrician." The door opened wider, and she stood there. She looked mid-30s, maybe a little older. Dark blonde hair pulled up in a loose knot, a few strands falling around her face. She wore a soft navy t-shirt and black leggings, barefoot on the concrete. Her eyes were a clear green, steady in a way that made it hard to look away. "You are right on time," she said. "I am Harper." Her voice was low and calm, no fake cheer, no edge. "Nice to meet you," I said, lifting the toolbox a little. "You said the garage light is out." "Yeah," she said, stepping back to let me in. "The main light will not turn on at all. The motion strip above the door flickers like crazy when I pull in. I work late and I am not a fan of walking into a dark garage." The garage looked different from most I had seen. No stacks of boxes or old paint cans. Everything was in its place. Tools on a pegboard. Bikes hung clean on the wall. The only mess was a cardboard box half open near the back. The light fixture on the ceiling was an older fluorescent unit. The little motion light over the big roll-up door blinked weakly on and off, like it could not make up its mind. "Got it," I said. "I will check the wiring and the ballast. Might be a bad connection." She nodded and moved to the side, leaning against the wall near a workbench. "You need anything?" she asked. "Ladder, water." "I am good," I said. "I have my own ladder, but water would be nice, if you do not mind." "Sparkling or still?" she asked. "Like we were at a restaurant," I blinked. "Still is fine," I said. She gave a small nod and slipped through the door into the house, leaving me alone with the hum of the garage fridge and the soft blink of the faulty light. I set up my small stepladder under the main fixture and popped off the cover. Inside, the wiring looked old and poorly done. Someone had twisted things together the wrong way. Probably when the house was built, the ballast was burned in one corner. "Figures," I muttered. It took about 30 minutes to swap the ballast, clean the contacts, and tighten the connections. I moved to the motion light, opened the casing, and found loose wires there too. Whoever wired this place liked shortcuts. I heard her come back before I saw her. Bare feet on concrete, soft steps. "How's it looking?" she asked. "Messy," I said, "but fixable." She handed me a cold bottle of water. Our fingers brushed. It was nothing, just quick skin on skin, but my chest did this little jump anyway. "Thank you," I said. "No problem," she said. "Take your time." I canceled my calls tonight. I raised an eyebrow without meaning to. She smiled a little. "I do consulting," she said. "Brand work." Meetings that should have been emails. Fixing that light feels more important than listening to another pitch deck. I gave a short laugh, then went back to the work. She stayed this time, a few feet away, arms crossed, watching but not in a pushy way. Just present. "So," she said after a minute, "how long have you been doing this?" 3 years on my own," I said, tightening a wire nut. "Started as an apprentice before that." "I like it. It is simple in the right way." "Simple how?" she asked. "You follow the lines," I said. "Find where the power stops. Fix the brake. There is a right answer. You cannot fake a working light." She was quiet for a second. "That must be nice," she said, "knowing when something is fixed." "Your light will tell us in a second," I said, hopping down from the ladder. "Want to do the honors?" She moved to the switch near the door, her hand hovering for a moment. Then she flipped it. The main light came on strong and clean, filling the garage with white light. The motion sensor above the big door stayed steady, the little indicator glowing instead of twitching. Her shoulders dropped like she had been holding tension she did not mention. "Thank you," she said. This was driving me crazy. "Happy to help," I said, packing my tools. "You should be good now. If it starts acting up again, call me and I will come back, no charge." She watched me latch the toolbox, her head tilted slightly. "You trust your work that much?" she asked. "I would rather do it right once than keep coming back for the same problem," I said. "Makes life easier for both of us." A small smile touched her lips. "That is rare," she said. "Most people build their business on repeat problems." "I like fixing things," I said, "not breaking them for later." She nodded, as if that confirmed something she already suspected. "How do I pay you?" she asked. "You can do it through the app," I said. "Card on file, all that." She glanced toward the house. "The app can wait 5 minutes," she said. "Can I get you something to drink, for real this time, not just water? Coffee, tea, wine?" I hesitated. My usual routine was fix the issue, get paid, leave. But there was something about her. The way she looked at me like she was not just being polite. The way her house felt too quiet, even from the garage. "Coffee would be good," I said. "If you have some." "Come on in then," she said, pushing the door open with her shoulder. "You can tell me more about why you chose wires over a normal job." I followed her inside. The kitchen was wide and bright, with white cabinets and light wood floors. A big window looked out over a small backyard with string lights and a few potted plants. It was clean, but not cold. A dark blue mug sat on the counter like she used it every morning. She moved like she belonged in every inch of the space, calm and sure. "Make yourself at home," she said, reaching for the coffee maker. "Well, as much as you can in a stranger's kitchen." I set my toolbox near the door, suddenly aware of my worn boots on her shiny floor. "Stranger with a working garage light," I said. Her laugh was soft, but it reached her eyes. "True," she said. "That earns you at least 1 cup of coffee." As the machine hummed, filling the room with the smell of fresh coffee, I caught myself wondering why my chest felt lighter than it had that morning. It was just a job. She was just a client. But the way she stood across from me, relaxed against the counter, watching me like she was trying to figure me out, made it feel like something else was starting. Something I did not see coming when I hit accept on a simple garage light job. The coffee machine finished with a soft hiss. Harper grabbed 2 mugs from the cabinet, dark blue ceramic with tiny chips on the handles, and poured. "Sugar, cream?" she asked. "Black is fine," I said. She slid a mug toward me and leaned back against the counter with her own. The kitchen light was warm, softer than the cold bulbs I had just fixed in the garage. Outside the big window, the sky was fading from blue to pink, the first streetlights blinking on in the distance. "So, Jay," she said, blowing gently across the top of her coffee. "How does someone your age end up playing with wires instead of doing the whole office route?" I shrugged, wrapping my hands around the mug. Office and me do not mix, I said. I tried for a bit, did a semester of business classes at the community college, hated being trapped in a room. I like building things, fixing things. My uncle is an electrician. I started helping him on jobs when I was 16. It just stuck. Your uncle's still around, she asked. Yeah, I said. He is across town. More big contracts now. I went my own way. Smaller jobs, my own schedule. Less money, but more freedom. Freedom is not cheap, she said. Most people trade it for a steady paycheck. I looked at her over the rim of my mug. What about you? I asked. You said you do consulting. That does not sound steady. She gave a small smile. It is steady enough, she said. I work with brands, mostly lifestyle stuff. New products, new campaigns. I tell people how to sell what they think they need to sell. You good at it? I asked. That is what they pay me for, she said. Good slide decks, clean numbers, a lot of buzzwords. She took a slow sip of coffee, then set the cup down, her eyes on the window for a moment. I am divorced, she added, like it was just another fact. Bought this place last year, moved out of the city. Decided I wanted less noise. I did not know what to say at first. She did not look sad, just honest. Less noise, I repeated. She nodded. Less people asking for things, she said. Less pretending everything is fine at dinner parties. More space, more quiet. I thought it would fix everything. Did it? I asked. Her eyes met mine again. Not everything, she said. Some things just get louder when it is quiet. Her words hit close. I thought of my own nights, the hum of the fridge in my apartment, the way my brain got loud when the world went still. I get that, I said. My place is small, but sometimes it feels too big when it is just me. Her gaze softened, like she heard more than I was saying. How long have you been on your own? She asked. Since I was 20, I said. My mom moved to Arizona with her boyfriend. I stayed. It was easier that way. Cheaper too if I kept working. You see her much? She asked. Sometimes, I said. Holidays if we can swing it. She is happy there. That is enough. She nodded slowly. My parents moved to Florida last year, she said. They keep asking when I am going to visit. I keep saying soon. I smiled. Soon is a flexible word, I said. She laughed, a real one this time. It made her eyes crinkle at the edges. It was a good look on her. We fell into easy talk after that. I told her about some of the stranger jobs I had. A guy who tried to wire his own hot tub and almost set his deck on fire. A woman who swore her house was haunted because the lights flickered, but it was just a loose neutral. Harper listened and asked questions. In return, she told me about clients who wanted everything authentic, but did not know what that meant. About flying to New York for one meeting, then flying back the same night. About sitting in hotel rooms, staring at ceilings, wondering when her life had shifted into constant motion. It sounds busy, I said. It is, she said, busy and empty at the same time. The way she said that last part made my chest pull tight. We finished our coffee, and the room grew quieter. The light outside had gone from pink to deep blue. The small under-cabinet lights cast a soft glow over the counters. I should let you go, she said finally, glancing at the clock on the wall. I did not mean to keep you this long. You probably have other jobs. Just one in the morning, I said. Nothing tonight. She nodded, then looked at me in a way that made it feel like she was deciding something. Do you ever work nights? She asked. If someone needs it, I said. Why? Her fingers tapped lightly on the edge of the counter. The lights in my back patio are wired to a weird old timer, she said. Sometimes they stay off when I need them and come on at 3 in the morning when no one is outside. It is not an emergency, but I do not love walking back there in the dark either. I can take a look, I said. Not today. I do not have my tester for that kind of box on me, but tomorrow or later this week works. She held my gaze for a second. How about Friday night? She asked. I have calls all day. It would be nice to know the lights work when I finally shut my laptop. Friday is open, I said. Text me through the app or call. Whatever is easier. I will text you directly, she said. The app can be a bit slow. She walked me to the front door. The house felt different now that I had seen the inside. Less like some perfect design, and more like a place owned by a person with their own cracks. At the door, she opened it, and the air from outside flowed in. A little cooler now. The street was quiet, just a neighbor pulling into a driveway down the hill. "Thank you again, Jay," she said, "for fixing the light, and for the conversation." "Anytime," I said. "Well, the light part is my job. The other part was good." She smiled, a small, real one. "It was," she said. "Drive safe." I walked back to my truck feeling different than when I had arrived. The night air smelled like cut grass and someone's dinner on a grill. My toolbox felt lighter in my hand. As I drove down the hill, the houses passed in a blur, but I could still see her standing in the doorway when I blinked. Bare feet, calm eyes, that quiet way she had of talking like she was not wasting any words. For the next few days, I did my usual jobs. An old couple with a dead outlet in their bedroom, a restaurant with half their kitchen on one breaker, a landlord who wanted me to check every smoke detector in a building. But Harper stayed in my head. On Thursday afternoon, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "This is Harper. Can you still come by Friday night for the patio lights?" I answered faster than I meant to. "Yeah, after 6 works best for me." 6:30, she wrote back. "I will be here." All day Friday, I felt like I had a low buzz under my skin. Every time my phone buzzed with a new job alert, I hoped it was her, and then remembered I already had my answer. By the time I finished my last job of the day, the sun was slipping behind the hills. I washed my hands at a gas station, wiped my boots, and checked my reflection in the truck window. Same face, same worn cap, same tired eyes. I did not know why I cared. She had already seen me covered in dust in her garage. Still, I straightened my shirt before I rang her bell. The side gate was open this time, a small light over it casting a warm circle on the path. A text buzzed. "Backyard is open. Come around." I followed the stone path along the side of the house. The sky above was a deep navy, a few stars starting to show. As I stepped into the backyard, I stopped for a second. It was simple, but beautiful. A small deck with a table and 2 chairs. A few planters with herbs. String lights hung overhead, off for now. The house's big windows glowed from inside. Harper stood near the back wall, next to a gray metal timer box mounted under the eaves. She wore a soft, long-sleeve shirt and jeans, her hair down around her shoulders. There was a glass of red wine on the table behind her. "You found it," she said, a small smile on her face. "Hard to miss," I said. "Nice setup." "It is better when I can see it after dark," she said, nodding toward the lights. "Right now they come on when they want." She stepped aside so I could get to the box. I set my toolbox down, popped the cover, and whistled under my breath. "Someone did not read any directions," I said. "That tracks," she said. "The last guy rushed through everything." I paid him, and the lights never worked right. I worked in silence for a few minutes, tracing wires, checking the timer, testing voltage. She stayed close, arms wrapped around herself against the slight chill. "How is your week?" she asked. "Busy," I said. "Good. Yours?" "Too many calls," she said. "Not enough time outside. Tonight is my reward." I glanced over. "For making it to Friday?" I asked. "For making it through it," she said. I fixed the last connection and shut the box. "Okay," I said. Moment of truth. We both looked up at the dark string lights. "Want to hit the switch by the door?" I asked. She walked over to the sliding door, flipped the switch, and turned back. The string lights blinked once, then came on in a soft, even glow. The yard filled with warm light. The plants, the table, her face, everything looked softer, closer. Her shoulders relaxed. "There it is," she said. "Real light." "No random 3 in the morning shows now," I said. "They will turn off when you tell them to." She looked at the lights for another moment, then at me. Something in her eyes had changed. A little less distance, a little more something else. "Thank you," she said. "You really did fix my whole week." "It is just wires," I said. "It is more than that," she said quietly. She picked up the second glass from the table, one I had not noticed before, and held it out to me. "Can you fix it tonight?" she asked. Then she paused, her gaze steady on mine. "And stay." For a second I thought I had heard her wrong. The string lights glowed overhead, casting a soft golden light over the deck. The night air smelled faintly like rosemary from the planter by the railing. Harper stood in front of me, one hand holding her own glass, the other offering me the second. "Can you fix it tonight?" she had said. Then she looked straight at me, no smile to hide behind. "And stay." My throat went dry. I took the glass from her, my fingers brushing hers. The touch sent a quick jolt through me, sharp and warm. "Yeah," I said, "I can stay for a bit." Her shoulders eased, just a little. "Good," she said. "I would like that." We sat at the small table under the lights. She took the chair facing the yard and the open sky. I sat across from her, my toolbox resting closed by the door, like a line between my usual world and this one. For a while, we did not say much. The quiet felt different than the quiet in my apartment. It did not press in on me. It just sat there, soft, leaving room for something else. She took a slow sip of wine. "I know that sounded strange," she said at last. "Asking you to stay." "It did," I said, "but not in a bad way." Her lips curved a little. "I work with people all day," she said, "but it is not real. It is screens and perfect smiles and words that mean nothing. Then I close my laptop and this house is quiet, too quiet." She traced a line on the table with her finger. "When you were in the garage the other night, it felt different," she went on. "You were not trying to impress anyone, you were just doing your job, one wire at a time. It was honest. I did not realize how much I missed that." I looked at her across the table. The light caught the faint lines near her eyes, the way her hair fell over one shoulder. She did not look like a client anymore. She looked like a person trying very hard not to feel alone. "I get lonely too," I said, "even when I tell myself I am fine." She watched me with that steady gaze. "What do you do when it hits?" she asked. I thought about it. "Sometimes I drive," I said. "Nowhere special, just around town. Past houses with lights on. I like knowing there are people inside. Families arguing over what to watch, couples doing dishes, kids getting yelled at to go to bed. It makes the world feel less empty." Her mouth softened. "You just drive and look at windows?" she asked. "Pretty much," I said, feeling a little foolish. "I know how that sounds." "It sounds human," she said quietly. A breeze moved through the yard, making the string lights sway a little. Somewhere down the hill a dog barked, then went quiet again. She took another sip of wine. "How old are you again, Jay?" she asked. 24, I said. "You?" She huffed a small laugh. 36, she said. 12 years is a lot on paper. "Paper does not see much," I said, the words out before I could think about them. Her eyes met mine, searching. "Maybe not," she said. We fell into talking again, little pieces at first. Music we liked, foods we hated. She teased me for never having been outside California. I teased her for having a whole yard but no dog. Then the talk shifted, like it always seemed to, with her. She told me about her ex-husband. His name was Mark. They had met in college when everything felt big and possible. He liked that she was driven. She liked that he seemed steady. Over time, she said, his steady turned to distant. He was here, but not really, she said. Always somewhere else in his head, always with someone else in his phone. She said it flat, but her fingers tightened slightly around the stem of her glass. I kept telling myself things would go back to how they were, she said. Then I realized we had not been that version of us in years. So I left, signed the papers, packed the boxes, chose quiet over a lie. "Do you regret it?" I asked. She breathed out slowly. "I regret how long I stayed," she said. "I do not regret leaving." I thought of my mom, how long she stayed with men who made promises and broke them, how she always found a way to blame herself. "You did something hard," I said. "Most people just talk about it." She looked at me like she was trying to figure out how I saw her. "What about you?" she asked. Any big heartbreaks I should know about before I keep inviting you to fix all my bad wiring?" I smiled a little. "Two small ones," I said. "Nothing like divorce. One girl in high school who wanted someone with bigger plans. One last year who wanted me to quit this and get a job with a name badge and a clock to punch." "Why did you not?" she asked. I looked up at the string lights. "Because I like knowing that when I fix something, it stays fixed," I said. "Because I like being the person who shows up when things do not work. Because I would rather be tired from climbing ladders than tired from sitting at a desk." Her gaze stayed on me, warm and sharp at the same time. "She did not see that as enough?" Harper asked. "She saw it as me hiding," I said. "Maybe she was right, but this feels more like me than anything else has." She was quiet for a moment. "It is enough for me," she said softly. My chest did that pull again. We sat there as the night deepened, our glasses emptied and refilled once. The conversation slowed, but the connection did not. Every time I looked up, her eyes were already on me. At one point she stood and moved to turn off the porch light by the door, leaving only the string lights overhead. The yard went darker, the glow from above softer, almost like we had stepped into our own little circle cut out of the rest of the world. When she sat back down, she was closer. Our chairs were angled now, knees almost touching. "Can I ask you something and get an honest answer?" she said. "You have had those from me so far," I said. "Are you staying because you feel bad for me?" she asked, "or because you want to?" Her voice was even, but her eyes were not. There was something vulnerable there, something that hit deeper than all the jokes and stories. "I am staying because I want to," I said, and I felt the truth of it all the way through. "I liked fixing your lights. I like being here more." She drew in a breath like she had been holding it without knowing. "Good," she said, "because I have not wanted someone to stay in a long time." The air between us thickened in a way that had nothing to do with wine or lights. I could hear the faint buzz of the timer box behind us, the quiet click of some distant relay. My hand rested on my knee, but every part of me was aware of how close her leg was. She looked at me for a long moment, then shifted her chair that last inch. Our knees touched. "Jay," she said, and my name sounded different in her mouth this time. "This is not the kind of thing I do." "What kind of thing?" I asked, my voice low. "Inviting the electrician to sit in my backyard and drink my wine," she said. "Wanting him to stay when the work is done." I could have made a joke. I could have pulled back. Instead, I set my glass down slowly and turned my body toward her. "What are you doing then?" I asked. "Something that feels like a bad idea and a right one at the same time," she said. Her hand lifted, hesitated in the air inches from my face, then settled lightly along my jaw. Her fingers were cool from the glass, but her touch was warm. My heart hammered against my ribs. "Tell me if this is too much," she whispered. "It is not," I said. I leaned in at the same time she did. The kiss was soft and careful, not rushed. Her lips tasted like wine and something faintly sweet. Her hand slid to the back of my neck. My fingers found the edge of her chair, then her forearm, holding on like I might float away. The yard stayed quiet. The lights stayed steady. It was just us. When we pulled back, we were both breathing a little harder. She kept her hand on my neck, thumb brushing the edge of my hairline. "We crossed a line," she said, but there was no panic in her voice, just truth. "I know," I said. "I am not sorry." Her eyes flicked to my mouth, then back to my eyes. "Neither am I," she said. A sound broke the moment. Her phone buzzing on the table inside, faint through the glass door. She glanced toward it, then away. It kept buzzing. "Work?" I asked. "Probably," she said. "They can wait." She looked back at me, and in that second I saw the life she had built pressing against the life she wanted. Calls, deadlines, empty meetings, and also this. A quiet night in a backyard with someone who fixed her lights and stayed. "I do not know what this is yet," she said. "I do not know if I can give it a name that makes sense to anyone else." "We do not need a name tonight," I said. "We just need to know if we want it." She studied me for a long moment, then smiled, softer than I had seen before. I want it, she said. That is the problem. We sat there for a long time after that, sometimes talking in low voices. Sometimes just sitting close, sharing the same small patch of light and air. The night stretched around us, wide and dark, but I did not feel lost in it. For the first time in a long time, I did not feel like the guy who drove past strangers. Windows to feel less alone. I felt like someone who had been invited inside. I woke up the next morning with the taste of her still in my head. Wine, warmth, the press of her hand on the back of my neck. The way her eyes had looked at me when she said she wanted this, even if it felt like a bad idea and a right one. For a few minutes I just lay there in my small bed in my small apartment, staring at the ceiling. The sunlight came in through the thin blinds, drawing lines across the wall. My toolbox sat in the corner where I had dropped it when I got home. My work shirt was hanging on the chair. Nothing in the room had changed, but I had. Part of me kept waiting for the crash, for a text that said last night was a mistake, for my phone to stay quiet in a way that felt like an answer. It did not. Around 10, while I was cleaning up my tiny kitchen, my phone buzzed. "Harper, you busy today?" My heart kicked up. "A little," I wrote back. "I have a job at noon." "Why?" There was a small pause, then her reply. "Just wondering if you like coffee that is not from a machine above a nail salon." I smiled in spite of myself. "I can make time for that," I typed. "Good," she answered. "Come by at 3 if you can. No tools required." For the rest of the morning, I moved through my job like a person working underwater. The old man whose ceiling fan I fixed thanked me 3 times. I smiled and nodded and thought about the way Harper's eyes looked under those string lights. By the time I pulled up her hill again, my palms were sweating on the steering wheel. I wiped them on my jeans, grabbed nothing but my keys, and walked to the front door. She opened it before I could ring the bell. This time she was in a soft gray sweater and dark jeans, hair down, feet bare like always. The house smelled like fresh coffee and something sweet, maybe cinnamon. "Hey," she said. "Hey," I said. We stood there for a second, then she stepped back. "Come in," she said. "I made real coffee." No app required. The kitchen felt different without my toolbox by the door. 2 mugs were already on the counter, steam curling up. A small plate of cookies sat beside them. We each took a mug and sat at the island like we had the first night, but there was something new between us now. Not tension exactly. More like a live wire, humming low. "How are you feeling today?" she asked. I took a sip. The coffee was strong and good. "Tired," I said, "but in a way that feels okay." She nodded. "Same," she said. "I thought I was going to wake up and panic." "Did you?" I asked. "For about 5 minutes," she said. "Then I remembered how I felt when you left, and it calmed down." Quote, "How was that?" I asked. She looked at me over her mug. "Like the house was less empty," she said. That simple line hit harder than anything else she could have said. "I keep thinking this should feel stranger than it does," I said. "But it just feels right, and that confuses me." "You are not alone in that," she said. She was quiet for a moment, then set her mug down and folded her hands. "There are things we should talk about," she said, "before we get pulled further in." My stomach tightened. "Okay," I said. "Like what?" She looked me dead in the eye. "Like the fact that I am 12 years older than you," she said. "That my ex still sends the occasional email trying to pull me into old fights. That my work can swallow whole days. That I have built this careful, quiet life, and now I am asking you to step into it without knowing what that looks like for you." I took a breath. "Okay," I said. "Then you should know things about me, too. I do not have a big plan yet. I have debt from tools and a truck that could die any week. I have a dream of opening a little shop that might never happen. My apartment is small and loud at weird hours. My life is not shiny." She listened, her face open. "Do those things scare you off?" she asked. "They should," I said, "but they do not. Do mine scare you?" Her mouth twitched. "They do," she said, "but they do not matter as much as I thought they would." We sat there in that truth for a minute. 2 lives that did not line up on paper, facing each other across a kitchen island. "I do not know where this goes," I said. "I do not know how to fit into your world. or how to fit you into mine. I just know I feel better when I am with you than when I am not." She let out a shaky breath that might have been a laugh. "You keep saying things I am not used to hearing," she said. "Honest things?" I asked. "Yes," she said. "Those." She stood then, walking around the island to my side. She leaned against the counter next to me, closer now. I could smell her perfume, light and warm. "Can we agree on something?" she asked. "What?" I said. "That we do not promise big things we cannot control," she said. "We do not pretend this is simple. We do not hide from what it is by calling it nothing. We just take it one day at a time and see if it still feels right in the morning." I looked up at her. "I can agree to that," I said. "As long as taking it one day at a time still means I get to see you." Her eyes softened. "That is the entire point," she said. She reached out and brushed her fingers over my hand where it rested on the counter. I turned my palm up and laced our fingers together. Her grip was firm and warm. "You know there will be people who do not get this," she said. "My friends. Maybe my family. Some of your people too. Most of my people do not look past the fact that I show up when they call," I said. "But yeah, some will not get it. Let them not get it." She smiled at that. "Who taught you to be like this?" she asked. "Like what?" I said. "Steady," she said. "For someone who drives around at night looking in windows, you are very steady." "My uncle," I said. "He always said if you do not trust your own choices, no one else will either." "Smart man," she said. We moved to the couch after that, coffee cups on the table, sunlight spilling across the living room rug. She sat close enough that our thighs touched. It felt natural, like that space had always been meant for us. We talked about smaller things for a while, a movie she thought I should watch, a cheap taco place I swore was the best in town. She promised to test that theory herself. At one point, her phone buzzed on the table. She glanced at it, then flipped it face down without checking. "Work?" I asked. "Probably," she said. "They can live without me for a Saturday." "You sure?" I asked. She turned her head, looked right at me. "I am choosing this right now," she said. "They can manage their own slides for a few hours." I leaned in and kissed her. This time there was less careful testing. It was deeper, more certain. Her hand slid into my hair. My arm went around her waist, pulling her closer until she ended up half-leaned against my chest. Her heart beat against my side, fast but steady. After a while we just sat like that, her head on my shoulder, my cheek against her hair, quiet together in a house that was not quiet anymore. Later, when the light outside started to fade, I knew I had to go. I had an early job in the morning, and she had emails building up on that flipped phone. I pulled back gently. "If I do not leave now, I will fall asleep right here," I said. "You say that like it is a bad thing," she said, but she smiled as she sat up. "I snore," I said. "Trust me, it is." She laughed and walked me to the door. On the threshold we stopped. The same place we had stood the first night, when I was just the guy who fixed the light. "Jay," she said, "if you ever start feeling like this is too heavy or too strange, promise you will tell me. Do not just disappear." "I promise," I said, "but you should know I am not planning on disappearing." "Good," she said. "Neither am I." She leaned in and kissed me one more time, short and soft. A promise, more than a question. "Drive safe," she said. "I will," I said. "Text me if any lights misbehave." She smiled. "I might text even if they do not," she said. On the drive home, the town lights glowed on both sides of the road. For the first time in years, I was not tempted to slow down and look into other people's windows. My own life felt like it finally had something worth looking at. I still had the same truck, the same small apartment, the same toolbox waiting for the next job. She still had her big quiet house on the hill, her calls, her past. We were not fixed, like a circuit with one right solution. But we had found a way to let our lines cross, not by accident, not by mistake, but by choice. She had hired me to fix her garage light. Now, when my phone buzzed, it was not just dispatch or strangers with dead outlets. Sometimes it was her. "Can you come by tonight?" Not always for work. And when I said yes, it was not just about wires anymore.